So I'm starting to believe that the Ohio thing is there may be a little bit more tied to what's going on there, and this would be why I say that. Erin Brockovich is on the case there. Yes, she is. You may think that she's somebody you can trust, but the only whistleblowers that are ever allowed, especially ones that had a movie made about them, are ones that the elites pick. The elites decide on the whistleblowers. I'm a whistleblower. I whistleblew on blacklisted cameras and other things. It doesn't matter. I'm silenced. While the whistleblowers they want to push to make you think somebody's on the case are people like Erin Brockovich. And she's big on the case in Ohio. But how can you really trust Erin Brockovich? I mean, in Flint, Michigan, they still have the problem. They're still drinking bottled water. And they made a whole movie about Erin Brockovich. But she's the environmental activist. That's why I don't trust her. I don't trust environmental activists. You know why? Because they're really usually globalists. Think about it. This whole thing happening in Ohio, what have you heard? Oh, it's going to affect our environment. Oh, how interesting. That really serves the World Economic Forum, doesn't it? And now you can see why they likely take my videos down. Because they don't want people that are saying the truth to be allowed to have a voice. They'll keep you focused on Ohio because they'll turn that whole thing around to how it's global warming. You know, if we didn't have global warming, those trains wouldn't have derailed because of this or that or whatever the other reason is. And Erin Brockovich is on the case. So be sure that, it's all going to be handled. But environmental activists are usually globalists, and those will be the whistleblowers that the World Economic Forum picks, fake ones that really never do anything because Flint, Michigan wasn't fixed. So why would you want Erin Brockovich to be helping you, huh? So here's how it's going to play out, okay? These people will throw any politician under the bus. They will throw Epstein under the bus. They will throw everybody in the little black book under the bus if they have to. Anybody and everyone the elites will screw over and throw under the bus to protect one thing. And can you guess what that is that they will protect? That without it, they're dead in the water. Just think about it. What's the one thing they have to protect? The one thing they have to protect is the science. Because the science it's everything for them, isn't it? They keep you peaceful with a bunch of lies that this is how everything works and just go to your job and and then that's not enough for them because they like to make people miserable, so they just put more taxes on you and more conditions and wearing masks, and now everybody's conditioned to wearing masks. And so they do all this, but because all the while what they're doing in the background is they've always been experimenting. I mean, Tuskegee should have said that. And Tuskegee wasn't the first time. But it didn't, because there was enough time that passed between that and when it was finally exposed. Without the science, they have nothing. They rely on it. It's everything for them. The globalists of the World Economic Forum and the UN and all their little minions that work for them, they hide in their little foxholes, in their little towers, their ivory towers, while they use the world as a petri dish with a bunch of corrupt, morally bankrupt people. Because they're always looking for, what are they looking for? I don't know. I mean, I think I have a good idea why they do it. It's because they're controlled by the wicked, obviously. And the wicked does things for very different reasons that have nothing to do with health. And yet, somebody might say to me, I could understand it too, that, well, Bethany, I go to the emergency room or the doctor and they help me get better. Do they? How many times have you gone to the emergency room and they don't? How many times have you gone and they didn't know what was wrong? Like, I'm not talking about broken legs. Yeah, they know what to do for that kind of stuff. All these surgeries, all these were all of these ever necessary? Or did, like, after Tuskegee, did something spread? I don't know. You never know. because we've just trusted whatever they say. So they desperately, desperately, the elites need you to never, ever think it's all the science. And most people would think, oh, I'm sure there's some good science. Are you sure about that? They all come from the same schools. Most of them Harvard and Yale, but it doesn't matter. They're all the same. They all have those fraternities in them that are really just syndicate organizations. But if you notice, if there's that many scientists that have no moral compass, and that, like, then do you think you should trust any of it? And given who's been controlling it for so long. See, these are some of the reasons that I'll be silenced, because they want you to talk about Ohio. They want you to talk about even the border. They want you to talk about whatever the mainstream media is talking about, then it's okay for you to talk about. But if you start talking about exposing the true thing that they desperately, desperately don't want to have exposed, well, then you'll end up like me, and you'll have 2 TikTok channels in the toilet right now. You'll be shadow banned on Rumble. You won't be allowed back on your main channel on YouTube. I mean, so is there really that many people out there speaking the truth? I don't know. I mean, I think there is, for sure. I mean, but I think that people have to start seeing that there's more people that are bad than good. I know, I hate saying that. I do. Maybe not all bad, but mindless. There's a bunch of people mindless, so they will follow the whole circus show, because the circus show has control of the narrative as they fall. But what they're going to do desperately is try to save the science. Watch. I guarantee it. Watch what happens.